Activists are individuals who actively engage in promoting and advocating for social, political, environmental, or economic change. They are driven by a strong sense of justice and a desire to address and rectify societal issues. Through their actions, activists seek to create a more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable world for present and future generations. Here are 10 famous activists who changed the world. Carter G. Woodson was an influential African-American historian, journalist, and author who dedicated his life to promoting the study of African-American history and challenging the prevailing racial biases and discrimination in American society. Born in 1875, Woodson faced numerous obstacles in pursuing his education but persisted in seeking knowledge. In 1915, Woodson founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History to promote the study and preservation of Black history. He is best known for establishing Negro History Week in 1926, which later evolved into Black History Month. Woodson's tireless efforts as a historian and activist laid the foundation for the recognition and celebration of African American history, helping to foster a deeper appreciation for the diverse contributions of Black Americans. Ella Baker was a civil rights activist who worked with several organizations. She was born on December 13, 1903, in Norfolk, Virginia. Baker's grandmother told stories about slave revolts that influenced her activism. In 1927, Baker graduated as class valedictorian from Shaw University in North Carolina. Baker was highly influenced by a historian and sociologist named Charles Johnson. She later moved to New York and joined the NAACP. Baker was a major asset in setting up the NAACP's New York branch. She was also involved in the New York Youth Council of the NAACP. In 1940, Baker became field secretary for the NAACP, and in 1946, she became the director of branches. She worked tirelessly to register Black voters in the South. Bana al-Abed was born in 2009 in Aleppo, Syria. She gained widespread attention on social media in 2016 for tweets documenting her life in war-torn Aleppo. Bana's mother, Fatima, helped her send out the tweets from their home. The tweets caught the attention of media outlets, gaining her over 300,000 followers. Bana's tweets showed the world the devastating effects of the Syrian conflict on children. She tweeted about the loss of friends and family members, the destruction of her city, and her fear of bombings. In December 2016, Bana and her family were evacuated as part of a ceasefire agreement. After being evacuated, Bana continued to use social media to raise awareness about the situation in Aleppo and Syria. She became an advocate for children affected by the conflict. Bana's book, Dear World: A Syrian Girl's Story of War and Plea for Peace, was published in 2017. Number 7. Sanita Elizadeh, 1996–2000. Sanita Elizadeh is an Afghan rapper, activist, and a strong advocate for ending child marriage. Sanita's story began in Afghanistan, where her parents attempted to sell her into marriage to pay for her brother's wife. When Sanita's family fled to Iran, she started attending classes at an NGO dedicated to helping Afghan refugees. It was there that Sanita discovered her love for music and began rapping about the issues that affected her and other young girls in her community. Her song, Brides for Sale, went viral and attracted the attention of documentary filmmaker Roxare Gem Magami. Magami's film, Sanita, focuses on the rapper's struggle to pursue her own dreams while facing pressure from her family, who still saw her as a commodity to be sold. Through her music and activism, Sanita has become a leading voice in the global movement to end child marriage. She has spoken at the UN, won numerous awards, and even opened a music school for girls in Kabul. Despite the risks, Sanita continues to use her platform to advocate for gender equality and empower young girls to pursue their dreams. Her bravery and resilience have inspired countless people around the world and demonstrated the power of music as a tool for social change. Payal Janjud is a child rights activist from India. Born in a poor family in Hinsla village, Rajasthan. At the age of 11, Payal was forced to drop out of school. Her uncle wanted Payal to get married. But Payal refused to give up on her education. With the support of her parents, she continued her studies. Payal started speaking at events to raise awareness about child marriage. She became the face of a campaign called Bachpan Bachao Andolan. The campaign aims to end child labor and child trafficking in India. In July 2019, Payal was invited to speak at the United Nations. She addressed the UN General Assembly on her fight to end child marriage. Payal is an inspiration to millions of children around the world. Her journey shows that anyone can make a difference. Despite facing tough challenges, Payal did not give up. She used her voice to fight for what she believed in. Today, Payal is studying in grade 12. Her fight for human rights has made a difference. Payal is proof that age is just a number. If we have the courage to speak up, we can create change. Thank you, Payal Janjud, for showing us that anything is possible. Number 5. Dolores Huerta. Dolores Huerta was born in 1930. She is an American labor leader and civil rights activist. Huerta co-founded the National Farm Workers Association with Cesar Chavez. They aim to improve the working conditions of farm workers in America. She has fought for the rights of workers, immigrants, and women her whole life. Huerta was a great speaker and negotiator. She worked alongside Chavez in many strikes and protests. Huerta also helped get the California Agricultural Labor Relations Act passed in 1975. This act helped ensure the basic rights of farm workers. She was once beaten badly by police while protesting. The attack left her with broken ribs. Injuries didn't stop her, though. She continued her work as an activist and labor leader. Huerta was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2012. She remains a role model for millions around the world. Her hard work for justice and equality has inspired many people. We owe her much for her contributions to the fight for social and economic justice. Number 4. Jack Andraka. Jack Andraka, born in 1997, grew up in Maryland. Inspired by a family friend who died of pancreatic cancer, he began researching its early detection. At age 15, he created a new method to detect pancreatic, ovarian, and lung cancer. His method is 168 times faster, 26,000 times less expensive, and over 90% accurate. He won the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair in 2012 at age 15. He was awarded $75,000 and gained worldwide attention. Time magazine listed him as one of the 25 most influential teens of 2014. Andraka developed several inventions to better cancer diagnostics and treatment. He founded a company, GERD Systems, to create a non-invasive method to diagnose cancer. He also created a nanoparticle-based water filter to provide safe drinking water. His TED Talk, called "A Promising Test for Pancreatic Cancer," from a teenager, has over 3 million views. Number 3. Michael D. Higgins. Michael D. Higgins is an Irish politician, born in 1941. He served as Ireland's 9th president from 2011 to 2018. Prior to his presidency, he held many political offices for over 4 decades. In his early days, he was a sociologist and a civil rights activist. He has spent most of his life advocating for human rights and social justice. In 1987, he became a member of the Irish Senate and was re-elected in 1989. He later joined the Dáil Éireann, the lower house of the Irish Parliament. He was also appointed as the Minister for Arts, Culture, and the Gaeltacht. Higgins has authored many books on topics such as poetry, sociology, and politics. He also served as the president of the Labour Party in Ireland for many years. Number 2. Harry Wu. Born in China in 1937, Harry Wu witnessed the brutality of Mao Zedong's communist regime. After moving to the United States, Wu became an activist for human rights in China. He founded the Laogai Research Foundation to expose the atrocities of China's labor camp system. Wu himself spent 19 years in the Laogai camps, facing inhumane treatment and hard labor. He smuggled out evidence to America and Europe, hoping to educate the world. In 1991, Wu was arrested upon returning to China for the first time since leaving. Wu testified before the U.S. Congress and the United Nations, calling for an end to China's forced labor practices. In 1995, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Wu continued to raise awareness until his death in 2016. Number 1. Ai Weiwei. Born in Beijing, China, Ai Weiwei is a contemporary artist and activist. He grew up in a political family and spent time in New York in the 1980s. In the 1990s, he returned to China and began creating art that challenged traditional notions. He worked on projects like the Bird's Nest Stadium for the Beijing Olympics. But his outspoken criticism of the Chinese government caused him to be arrested and imprisoned in 2011. After his release, he continued to create art that addressed political issues and human rights abuses. He used his platform to document the refugee crisis and advocate for the victims of events like the Sichuan earthquake. Some of his most famous works include Sunflower Seeds and Remembering. He has won numerous awards and been featured in exhibitions around the world. Ai Weiwei continues to be a leading figure in contemporary art and social activism.